What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, as far as the market's going, I just want to say that we are technically a bit more bullish as we're making higher highs and higher lows. But this morning, the market was very choppy, so there wasn't really much that was going on, which is why I didn't really upload too many videos. But for now, I just want to say that we're quite choppy looking. We are on a bit of an uptrend, but I do have a warning for everyone about this rising wedge that's developing on SPY. We have a rising wedge and a triple bearish divergence with not only just SPY itself and its own indicators, but also with I believe the QQQ and the NASDAQ. So this tells us that, yes, the market could try to go higher, we could try to push, but we're approaching some tough resistance. You want to be very careful since we have these wedges, which do give us the possibility of downside in the future. And I just want to give you guys a heads up about that. So what does this mean? We could go higher. Yeah, SPY could try to go for 601, 603. We could be trying to go a little bit higher, but I do want to warn you to be careful with this wedge. This wedge that's forming could lead to downside later on. SPY could slowly try to uptrend for like 602, 603, whatever. But then once we lose 595 right over here, we could start dipping all the way down towards that gap. There's one gap over here, and there's another one way down here. There's some gaps to fill. So there could be a small pivot, a small dip, at least by about like 10 points or so if we see that rejection and a big dump. So there are indicators that suggest that although the market's climbing, although the market could go higher, there's going to be a risk of a pivot, a risk of us turning. So please be very careful. So could SPY go higher? Yeah, we could still continue to uptrend. We're still bullish. We haven't broken structure. We haven't lost our key EMAs, right? We haven't lost this green line right here, the 20 EMA to turn bearish. There's no sign of a big break yet, but there is a risk of it. I just want to give you guys a heads up of that. Now, right now with the negotiations going on between the US and China, the market's still holding up, but we're going to see how well we can sustain these levels, so please be very careful. On the QQQ, there's a tough resistance at 532. I think we just touched that. We have to break that to remain bullish to start pushing for 535. If we can't break that, we're looking for a retest of 527. If that fails us, there's a gap to fill down here at 524 and lower levels. We have this blue trend line. If we lose the blue trend line, we're going to be at risk of dipping all the way down to like 522 or below. But if we continue to break past 533, we're looking for more upside for 535. We'll see if we make a lower high here to start dipping lower, so give this the time it needs. We're making higher highs and higher lows. We're technically more bullish. We could try to push, but then we'll see if we end up turning back down. On the IWM, we're bullish. We have a nice inverse head and shoulder setup. We could still try to continue to uptrend, looking for that 215 targets. There is upside potential, but just keep in mind that there's also a double bearish divergence. So we need to break and hold 215 to continue. If we can't do that, there is a risk of us coming back down to fill this gap at 208. For ES, we hit the first target of 6,025, but we have to break 6,050 to remain more bullish. Even if we do push a bit higher, there's a triple bearish divergence on ES and also a bearish divergence with NQ. So that sort of like tells us that if we could break 6,050, I could turn more bullish. We could continue to uptrend. But if we can't break that, there's going to be a risk of us returning back down to at least 59.60. So keep that in mind. We could go a bit higher, but be careful. Same thing with NQ. You need to break 22,000 to remain bullish. We could try to go for it, but then there is this double bearish divergence right here. And if we end up losing 21,600, we could be dipping lower, so just be very careful. Bitcoin has an inverse head and shoulders looking for a target of about 109,000, eventually 110,000. We'll see if we break that or not. Tesla's looking for 309 and eventually 314 as our targets. There is more upside potential here, and we'll see how it ends up reacting. But for now, I want to see Tesla hold 310 and continue. It's looking pretty good so far, and there is upside potential. On Nvda, we have a bearish divergence. This is a triple bearish divergence. We need to break and hold 144 to continue to push. As of right now, we're struggling to do so. And if we lose 140, we're looking for a dip back down to 137. For Aapl, we have a double top here. We need to get back above 202. If not, we could be dipping to 197. For others out there, such as AMD, it's bullish off an inverse head and shoulders, looking for essentially 125 as our target. For Coinbase, we're looking in the middle, also kind of like an inverse head and shoulders. I could see this attempt to go for 260, but be careful off this head and shoulders as well. But I do think 260 is very possible. Amazon also has an inverse head and shoulders, looking for 220 as our potential targets. For Meta, we're looking at this resistance right here at 700. We need to break and hold that to remain bullish. If we can't get back above 700, we're favoring a move back down to about 683. For Google, we're looking bullish, nice inverse head and shoulders looking pretty good, but we need to see this continue to break 180 for us to push more. I do think we might be looking for 180 as a target, and we'll see if we break that 178 to 180 area. For Microsoft, we could be going for 475, and we'll see if it breaks. There's a bearish divergence, but no sign of rejection. We have to lose 467 to turn bearish, and there's no sign of that. We're still favoring 475. The VIX is dipping. We're going to see if it could base here or not. Be careful. I do want to warn you that the VIX has a falling wedge. These typically lead to bullish outcomes. So for now, we're consolidating down here, but be very, very careful because if we get that breakout, that could cause a very, very big shift. Anyways, that's it for my analysis and this video. So the market could still push higher. That we could still see a SPY go for 601 or even 603. We could still try to slowly uptrend, but it is getting riskier as volume is slowing down and we have these divergences and a rising wedge and lots of confluences that suggest the market may get a rug pull soon. So there's no confirmation on the chart yet of that. There's no confirmation of us breaking yet. So for now, we are bullish. The bulls have the bigger edge, at least for the time being, but there is risk. There is risk in being way too bullish up here and trying to buy at such a high level as the market has so many gaps to fill. So I just want to give you guys a heads up about that. I hope that's as clear as possible. Thank you all for listening and peace out.